Hello everyone, it is I, Roman, and we are back. You are my Romanettes. This is Fun and Roman podcast. I'm your hostess for the most. It's every week, but it's a nice little affirmation. I have Jason here.
Hello.
Hola, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, you know. Good. So tonight we are dropping our. Thank you for being here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tonight, as always. Tonight we are dropping our newest panel, having a MAGA relative. So many of us at this point have had either friends, relatives, or coworkers who turned to the dark side or the MAGA side of the force, and I've been wanting to sit down with people to discuss how that has impacted their family dynamics and personal relationship with these people, and whether or not they think there's like any way to bring them, either into the light or out of the light, depending upon how you discuss. Yeah. Like black people into the color, out of the color, probably into the color. You know what I mean? So stay tuned after the news recap. As I and a couple of friends sit down and discuss. It was really good.
Cool.
Next week I'll be dropping the first half interview with the amazing Delilah B. Fierce. I've seen this drag dude give some fierce performances, and her outfits, stunning. Chef's kiss, and she makes them all, and they're always like drag race, like level caliber, like outfits. Like,
that's impressive when you make them stuff.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Especially she makes every single one of them. They're so extravagant. They're so good. She had this one like this Grinch outfit that was so fucking fierce. Yeah, she's really cool. So I'm really excited to see her. She's like part of the B. Fierces, which is like this whole drag family from LA. And all that. So yeah, get into that. So let's get into it, bitches. Let's get our mood enhancers out, por favor. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Consider yourself enhanced, and you'll be entranced as you continue to listen to the dulcet tones of my voice. Happening since we last saw each other. Okay, so have you heard, Jason, about that crash that happened a couple weeks in the Castro?
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't even bring it up. I don't know. I forgot. I should have just brought it up. But for those of you who don't know, there was this crash in the Castro. This car, and we were just talking about it. So this car, and I posted in the show notes the link on Instagram. This car goes straight into Cafe Mystique, which is this really good. I'm gonna tell you a funny story. So Cafe Mystique is in the Castro, and it is open to 12 or something like that. And I would used to go to Badlands and get so drunk. You know what I mean? By 9:30 or 10, because they would have, especially if you go for the happy hours, they'd be trying to kill you now, like $1, buy one drink and the next for $1, right? And them tall glasses are taller than taller than you, man. And so I would, bitch, wrong, girl. So then I would go, I would get so fucked up, and I would go to Cafe Mystique because they have really big portions, and I would get trout and rice and cobbler, whatever. So I love Cafe Mystique. But this car hits it goes perpendicular to the street into Cafe Mystique. And we were just talking about how the angles don't even work out.
It doesn't make sense.
It was some people said they that this guy made this, even if you made a turn off of fucking 18th, or even made a left off of Castro, that's Castro, right? Market. Onto Castro, you still wouldn't be able to hit that angle, that straight perpendicular angle going in it. So I think they were trying to do a 3-point turn and then maybe hit the gas instead of hit the brake.
And he hit it hard.
Went into it too fast, too furious.
I was how do you even do that?
I was waiting for Ludacris to jump out and be no, too fast, too furious.
And then he just got out the car and started running.
Or that one song where it's I think it's in Portuguese. Hey, that's all I can remember from T.I. Series. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's the video of the guy crashing, and then he gets out and he's a hot mess. He just walks away where are you going, girl? You know what I mean? Is this car not registered to your name? Exactly. You know what I mean? You're going to get in more trouble from a hit and run than you would for just staying there,
right,
and being drunk. You know what I mean? I would have just walked to Walgreens and gotten some coffee to sober up.
Yeah, maybe he was going to call the cops or something. I don't know. I hope he was.
I would have got out and walked to the Walgreens and be I need some carbs. I need to sober up so that when they come, I at least won't get a DUI. Yeah. You know what I mean? I could just get dangerous and driving. Oh my God, I hit the wrong thing, sir. But anyway, there's a reaction video, because then right after that, it was 1:45. Thank God nobody was hurt, because that's the time when most people are getting out of the club or whatever. And there's this boy, or this Thembi, and he's dark skinned and black. And so somebody tagged me because he's reacting to it, and it's not me. And how dare they? Because it doesn't even look like me.
It doesn't.
Just because this boy wears women's clothes, okay, not all of us cross dressers if we dark skinned and fabulous. And the thing that gets me is it's happened to me 5 or 6 times where people have come up to me oh my God, was that you in that video? No, It was not me in that video. I was walking by Cafe Mystique, and one of the employees was like, "Bitch, was that you in the video?" I said, "No, bitch. Was that you in the video, bitch?"
Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
Were any of the people that asked you, were you that person in the video black?
No, and also. No, but the person who tagged me in was black, so they were trying to be funny. Okay. You know what I mean? Oh, bitch. It's always your own kind. Yeah. But then I've also had like multiple people be like, "Girl, that wasn't you. That didn't even look like you." Yeah. Of all races and shit. But like, it's like I say, like, I know that Bob the drag queen's in town because people start coming up to me like, "Bob, oh my God, is it you?" No, girl. Yeah. Just because I'm dark skinned and fabulous doesn't mean we all look alike, girl. Right. Me and Bob the drag queen have been in the same club, and people have come up to me and be like, "Bob," I was like, "She's right over there." I'm looking at the bitch. Yeah. All right, you know what I mean?
And it's always a little insulting when somebody doesn't know you, like they mistake you for somebody else. It's just a little. It cuts a little bit.
Girl, it's been happening.
It happens to me too.
That happens. I've gotten since I was high school. I got not Tyson Beck. What's the guy from Rant? I forgot his name, but I was like, "Thank you." You know what I mean? Thank you. Anyway, so the World Cup is here. Mm-hmm. Do you watch the World Cup?
No, not really.
I mean, right, girl. I want to be the World Cup. Yeah. Ooh, okay, you know what I mean? I want all these men in this country to come visit me and your colors and your kilts and shit. Like, thank you. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay, so a couple things. So the World Cup is here. And it has been a week of drama. It's only been 1 week, and it's just been drama. Mm-hmm. There has been the U.S. won't let people in the country because apparently we don't need people coming into this country to spend money. World Cup fans come. If you're coming from the World Cup to America, you spent a lot of money already. Yeah. You know what I mean? During high gas prices, you got the hotel prices, you got the World Cup inflated prices of tickets, which you're going to talk about. These are the people we want in this country. I don't give a fuck where they're from. They have money. You know what I mean? They're coming here to spend.
And there were a lot of people that canceled.
Right.
A lot of people that canceled.
Right. And the people who come, they get fucked up drunk. So that's what I mean. That's what you want, girl. You know what I mean? And so like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people cancel. We haven't the hotels haven't been selling out. They try to make excuses for it. Yep. The games, there's some games. Even it's not even in America. Like Mexico City, I've seen and stuff like that because it's like the World Cup's in like 4 different countries this year or whatever. And it has not. It's because the prices are so fucking expensive because everybody's doing this dynamic pricing bullshit. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the thing is, they just broke up Live Nation. If that's not something to tell you about the dynamic pricing and how that it's just not working when it's just getting so expensive, and it's getting so expensive for. I don't even know what the reasons are. You know what I mean?
They just be up charging you just for it.
Right.
Just because they can.
Right. You know what I mean? And it's always passed on to the
convenience
customer.
Fee.
Right. It's
like, what the fuck? Who is it convenient for?
Right. Thank you. And then like you saw in Mom Donnie, they had the T-shirts for the World Cup official T-shirts for $200 or something. And so Mom Donnie came out with some ones that you could get from the supermarket for like $40. You know what I mean? Because it's like, girl, like
$40 for a T-shirt is still
still a lot. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's not $250. You know what I mean? And it's like the World Cup in America. I get it, but like, what else is there? So ticket prices are high. Oh, so but have you seen some of the teams who have arrived, girl? The Republic of Congo.
Ooh, no, I didn't.
Democratic Republic of Congo. Girl, we got to look them up. They came looking fierce. They all came in in black suits with it was like very Coming to America with like a leopard print wrap on the top. Yeah. All of them.
Okay.
Whole team could fuck me. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
G1, 2, 3.
G1. Train on you.
What is your name? Yeah, I don't even want to do something racist about the African name, but whatever the African names are from the Democratic Republic of Congo, you up, bitch, okay? For the team. Woo. I was like,
okay, I gotta check him out.
I got wet.
I got wet.
And then also I put a link post a link in the show notes. You see the fans fighting in New York at Times Square. Yes. You know you privileged when you come to another country and brawl in public on the street. Right. Like you you're not going anywhere. No. We got brown skinned Mexican. We got brown people, immigrants in this country hiding in every place they can, and then the white people coming here. You know what I mean? Doing they full not a Kama Sutra. Doing they full karate in public. You know you privileged when you just not going.
They know that because they saw Trump bring those South African people.
Hello, right, and then raise the cap by an extra 10,000. Like we need 10,000 more white racists in this country. We breeding them, bitch. You know what I mean? Like we breed them left and fucking right. They like those pythons in South and Florida that we can't get rid of. The white racists are just also in Florida.
Yeah, not a coincidence,
right? Oh, so the only thing I have to talk about. I went to this really really cool house party this weekend. It was cool. It was like, because it's rare that I'm so well known. Ooh, I'm so famous. Ooh. I told you I was making that sound to somebody to where I sound like a duck, right? I was like, yeah, mama. Okay, bitch. I'm doing this duck walk. Quack, quack. Anyway, so I went to this really cool house party, 4 floors in Dolores Park. or right next to Doris Park. 300 motherfucking people. A dark room the size of most people's living room. Three dance floors, a DJ. Music was fierce, full of like hot Asians. You know, I love some hot Asians. Woo, baby. Tell me about your long cultural history, baby. Okay, thank you. Teach me about your genealogy, baby. Thank you. Treat me like the Great Wall of China and discover all my secrets. So yeah, 300 people. They had this pageant thing where they was giving out awards, like, and I had to, of course, they had to ask me to help MC because hair flip, I'm amazing. And then like they would get like Miss Dolores. So like if you turn heads when you walk down the street or whatever, all the way to Miss Folsom, you had to get naked and get hard and shit.
Oh, okay. I like that. I actually like that.
It was fair, baby. Me and Mr. Folsom had a good time. Okay, let me just say, me and Mr. Folsom rang in Dory. And with that, let's go to what really grinds my motherfucking girdles. You know what really grinds my motherfucking girdles, Jason?
What's that?
This like age gap thing. And when I say that, I mean generally like the idea that there's like, or not even the idea that like, so how some people have issues with other people of different generations. And to be honest, it's mostly been millennials going, beating down on the Gen Z. Mm-hmm. Like in my experience, like, okay, I was just at this class party and it was full of Gen Zers, which is fine, whatever, you know what I mean? But it was the millennials who were like walking around like, oh my God, everyone's 10 years younger. Don't you feel old? No, bitch. You know what I mean? I don't feel old. Like I didn't even rightly it took me a while to even recognize that they were all Gen Z, just because, they're Asian people, unless they're 21 to 62, bitch, they look the same, bitch. You know what I mean? Yeah, once they hit that 75, then they have the cliff. You know what I mean? I ain't there yet. You know what I mean? And so it was like one guy was like, he's like yelling out like, oh my God, don't you feel 10 years older? I was like, no, but maybe you do because you're yelling that you're 10 years older than everybody. Right. In a room, like when I walk by the Gen Zers, I don't see them looking over like, look at them old bitches over there. You know what I mean? But I do hear just millennials walking by, look at them young bitches. Like they don't care.
I mean, the thing about millennials too is like, they kind of are aging slower. Than an older generation. So it's like they don't look as old.
Right. Nobody thinks I look 42. Do you know what I mean? Like literally, I'm with 25-year-olds and they'd be like, oh, 30. And I'd be like, thank you. You know what I mean? And it's also like, I mean, I'm not saying that Gen Z, if you're around a bunch of Gen Zers, there isn't, certain behaviors that you can, maybe stick up to the generations, when they talk about that, right? Like, I don't understand the whole day against sunscreen. You know what I mean? They definitely don't know how to party like we do.
No. And they lack some social skills. But I give kind of some slack because they grew up during COVID.
Right. And we also learned, we've had 20 years of learning these social skills, you know what I mean, that they didn't, they don't have. But it just seems to me that the issues I've heard, or when people have a problem, it's the millennials having a problem with their own age. You know what I mean? Because I haven't really seen the Gen Zers like taken out, but I can literally, you can see, sometimes feel when like a group of Gen Z will walk by a group, especially the gays, walk by a group of like millennial gays, and it's like this look that they give the Gen Zers, and it's just like, girl, like that's your own problem with aging. Yeah, these boys are beautiful and just having a good time. Yeah, they're a little wild, but you're 22, bitch. You know what I mean? Who wasn't wild? I was a mess at 22, bitch.
Yeah, I think most people were.
Fuck. I mean, that's when you're supposed to be a mess. You know what I mean? Yeah. Thank you. But then also like, and I can like, unless you're like, okay, now with the boomers. Now, I understand the disdain we have for the boomers because of the concrete actions the boomers have done to this country. They ruin the world with climate change. They won't fucking retire. They won't let us pass laws about climate change. You know what I mean? They sitting there getting Botox, trying to hold on to the realms of power, dying in motherfucking office.
They have nothing. They've done nothing to really advance.
Hoarding the wealth. You know what I mean? Hoarding the wealth, and then also like systematically dismantling the system that got them their wealth in the first place. Fannie Mae, all these fucking handouts of the government got them to where they at. Mm-hmm. So I can understand why you have a problem with boomers, but like it's just like, girl, if you're a millennial, deal with your age, girl.
I think ageism is kind of baked into a lot of gay men's minds. Yeah. And so it's like, when you're in your 30s, whatever, it's like whatever. But as you get into your 40s, which a lot of millennials are now, it's like it's one of those things where you just the reality starts to set in. It's like, oh, this is a whole crop of new people that are younger than me and slimmer and whatever. It's like, and that kind of can eat at some people. But, you just have to be comfortable with your own age.
Yeah, because I also At 42, I get hit on by more people of all age ranges than I did when I was 30 or 25. You know what I mean? I get hit on by 25-year-olds, 45-year-olds, 55-year-olds, 65-year-olds, 35. You know what I mean? And I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying, so it's like, it's not even like I'm not getting seen. If anything, I'm getting more seen. And it's not even because they think that I'm older. I mean, they know I'm older than them, but it's not like they're like, oh, you're 50. You know what I mean? Which, who cares, girl? And I know 50-year-olds who look fine.
Me too. 60. I mean, like some people, like some people just, are aging well. They're taking care of themselves.
Right. And I plan on looking fine for my age at every age. You know what I mean? Yes. So like, girl, just, don't just be coming at these Gen Zers or whatever, because some of them got Gen Z dick. I'm like, I'll date you, baby, but you can dick me down, Annie. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'll teach you a couple things. You teach me a couple things. I'll teach you about sunscreen and you teach me about, I don't know.
I don't know what they did.
Oh God, I don't know, but I guess we'll learn. You know what I mean? Oh,
you can learn from each other.
One time I was kikiing and I walked to the bathroom and it was like 5 or 6 Gen Zers and they were just sitting on the ground in their underwear holding hands, and they're like, oh yeah, don't mind us. Sometimes we just like to get in underwear and and share. I was like, girl, I just gotta pee. Like, go on with your share circle. Let me pee, and then you come back in here and kumbaya. You know what I mean? Jesus. And let's go on to party fucking reviews. And we're back with party reviews. All right, so I actually went to only one thing of note this weekend, because you just said you didn't really go out this weekend, huh?
Yeah, I didn't. I've been playing out for several weeks in a row, so this was the first one in a while that I didn't have any gigs. So I just kind of chilled and just took advantage of the downtime.
Yeah, I watched that Mad Men, girl.
I watched that Mad Men.
I was around a bunch of Mad Men too, but it was a different situation. Girl, I told you, there's a bunch of Asians. I'm joking. Asians are mad, just some of them, right? So I did go to this free rave thrown by the city in the Embarcadero on Saturday. It was cool. It was really fun. It was some pretty fierce music. It was like Dirty Bird Music Festival, whatever. Had, I guess, a big stage. There was a really beautiful dance square. They had, the DJ killed it. It was giving thrown by the city vibes. When you got like everything from kids to addicts like me, party heads like me, powering through, trying to just find something to do from 12 to 2.
And I like afternoon parties.
Yeah. And like I said, they had booths, they had the DJ, they had like the booths of selling things, they had alcohol stations or whatever, and then like a bunch of like restaurants. It was really fucking cool.
Dope.
Let's see. So now let's go to upcoming parties. So upcoming, we have on 620 at Bo, we have the Next Maximus is back, and the DJ is amazing. His name is Sakalem. He's fierce. I keep saying he's like the Kanye West or like the Missy Elliott, because he like is known for like making a lot of the like circuit beats that we listen to, especially if you go to other countries, like Brazil or whatever. So he's going to be really fierce. That's going to be a good party coming up. Also at 620 at the Eagle of Young Hearts, another edition of their party. On 625 at 1145 Folsom is the SF Pride lock party. It's first time Pride party recommendations. Then we got on 626 at the Midway Electrolux doing their little Pride celebration. Are you playing Pride this year?
I'm playing at Powerhouse on Saturday, and then I'm playing. I got a couple friends that were doing a party in the park on Sunday.
Cute. And 627 at Great Northern during the day is a Pink Black party with Honey fucking Dijon. We'll both be there. I love me some mustard. On 627 at the Midway XOXO has Sagi Karib and Enrico Maloney, and I just added a party I found out about 628 at the Foundry have Ascend His Nina Flowers. So I just saw that bitch in fucking LA. She killed it. You know what I mean? I was like, girl, send me your flower. Ooh, Nina, I want to taste your flower. Thank you. So I'm going to see her again when she's at the Foundry. And those are the party recommendations. Let's go to break and we'll be to talk about some world motherfucking news. And we're back with world news. Tens of thousands rally in Europe over migration debate. So tens of thousands of demonstrators took to the streets in at least 2 European cities Saturday night, highlighting ongoing political divisions over immigration policies. In Rome, thousands of people joined rival demonstrations over pro or anti-immigration policies. In Belfast, Northern Ireland, thousands paraded to condemn a wave of violence that erupted after a Sudanese immigrant was charged in the killing of an Irish citizen. After videos went viral, there were riots and clashes with police that injured at least 12 officers. Demonstrations came a day after the EU Migration and Asylum Pact. The new framework aims to standardize the screening of migrants, streamline processing of asylum applications. In Italy, terms like remigration are becoming more mainstream, which means like forcibly sending back immigrants, both illegal and legal, to their old countries. What you think?
Ooh, I mean, it's a sensitive subject.
Yeah,
you know, because some of these countries, like, they have some old culture, and you know, you have people coming in, and let me just say, I value immigrants.
Yeah,
I think they're amazing for any country that they go to, because we all need diversity.
Yeah,
you know, I could also see the other side about the people that are citizens of the country kind of feeling maybe pushed out culturally. So yeah, I mean, but you know, we also gotta identify the underlying racism.
Yeah,
because
xenophobia.
Yeah, because if these were white immigrants, would there be as much pushback? I don't think so.
Yeah, especially because I just think that like immigrants are the easiest target whenever something goes wrong in a country, and the powers that be are going to try to point to these easy targets versus the powers that be, which are the problem. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I always hate when like when an immigrant does something. Like the Sudanese person that knifed the person in Ireland, and then that becomes like a flash, you know, flash, a bellwether. But it's just like, girl, like how many people from Ireland have been knifed by other Irish? You know what I mean? Like, and we were just looking it up, talking about, you know, I made the comment that we're more likely to be killed by a white person in America than a person of color because of mass shootings and all that. And look it up, and actually, no, you're more likely to be killed by a person of your same race. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and so I always hate when it's like we take one incident of crime by an immigrant and try to say all immigrants are bad. When we can look at the statistics, and it's the people in this country, in whatever country you're in, that are doing way more than the immigrants, because immigrants generally don't cause as much crime because they want to do what? Stay in the country.
Stay here.
You know what I mean?
I mean, like, that's what Trump was doing during the election, talking about eating cats and dogs and all that nonsense. You know what I mean? They try to like
eating the cats. Yeah.
Yes. So it's like I said, it's a sensitive issue. As far as taking people back, the remigration that they're doing, I mean, I don't know. Like once they're there, they're kind of there in my mind.
Well, like, you would think, but like I have this joke where I'd be like, people like you'd like to go on cruise ships, and I'm like, no, girl, you know what I mean? I don't, you know what I mean? I was already brought over. My people brought over on the ship. You know what I mean? I'd fuck around and they'd be like, oh, sorry, we didn't want you. We just turned you to sender. You know what I mean? And then they would send me to the wrong country. And look, that was a joke, and we're actually doing that. Yeah. We're actually sending people back, deporting them to the wrong fucking country on motherfucking purpose. You know what I mean? So yeah, I brought this up because it's like, this is like an issue that we're seeing across the first world, and it's going to continue to be an issue because one, we caused the wars that caused the displacement, right? Look at what we did and Israel did in Lebanon and Gaza. Look, we don't help out the wars that displaced millions of people, like in Rwanda. Do you know what I mean? Even though we caused the conditions that like exacerbated the wars in the first place, or climate change. We're gonna have all these people because they're not gonna have any food or any water or any, you know what I mean? It's gonna be too hot, so they're gonna have to come north, and it's all about us conditioning our population to recognize the reparations we owe them, because a lot of the things the first world has been living on, these blessed freedoms, these blessed riches, are on the backs of the South. You know what I mean? And so it's like, and we have a history of taking in groups and cultures, because look at Ellis Island, all of these people have done it. It's just it's about like, you know, getting the population to understand the reasons why, and you know what I mean, and being open to assimilation. Because I also, every time I fucking turn around, I'm reading another article about how, you know, the first worlders are actually, apparently first and second world is not a good term, but it's you know, developed nations and underdeveloped nations or whatever. So I learned that. Okay. But it's basically the birth rates are falling because once you have education, you don't want to pop out 17 kids because you don't need them to take care of you. So we need immigrants to fill up the ranks and keep growing as a population.
Yeah. When people talk about the birth rates, though, I mean, a lot of times they're talking about white people.
Yeah.
They don't want more brown people. They don't want more black people. You know,
they want to keep the white people.
And even in this country, we look at the immigration situation. It's like the government's fine with bringing white South African immigrants in, and treating them well, and, you know, giving them what they need. But if you're brown, if you're Latino, if you know you're from an African country, it's like you better have your paperwork, you better have everything together.
It's also kind of annoying just how like how cross-national it is, because it's really just showing you that, like, you know what I mean, how we will send people over to Hungary, or we'll send people over to other countries to try to meddle in their affairs, to try to like limit their migration policies just so we have a reason to limit ours. And it's really becoming like the far right north is trying to constrain the global south, you know what I mean? And they're trying to like take over the north in terms of like immigration policies, because like I said, they looking at the same motherfucking research. If anything, they've had this research since before the masses. They knew this was happening, you know what I mean? So they're just trying to like control the levels of power and prime the population to be against migration, so when the great migration start to happen, you know what I mean, they can then use this prime population to just enact, you know, draconian rules and laws on immigrants, you know what I mean, while also, you know, colonizing and taking over the country.
And plus they have less rights.
Right.
You know.
So with that, let's go to American news. And we're back with American news. All right. Let's see. Trump ramps up education departments, dismantling with changes on special education and civil rights. President Donald Trump's administration on Tuesday accelerated its dismantling of the education department, delegating much of its work to protect the nation's at-risk students. The Department of Justice will take on enforcement of civil rights and education. Yeah, right. But the Department of Health and Human Services will oversee special education. Administration officials announced. With those moves, the Education Department has now carved away the vast majority of its functions for other agencies to handle. The two Education Department offices involved, the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services and the Office for Civil Rights, defend the rights of children with disabilities and those who experience discrimination based on race, sex, or religion. Advocates worry the change could mean lapses in communication for families and school officials who need help.
I mean, the first thing I thought about was, I hope that this can be reversed when he's out of office. Yeah. Because why? I mean, I understand why. He wants to keep people stupid. Yeah. Like, he wants to make them dumb so that they're more controllable.
Doesn't give a fuck about people with special needs. Yeah. Damn, for sure doesn't give a fuck if you're a person of color and a kid who's not getting education.
No. And putting the civil rights enforcement under the Department of Justice, like this Department of Justice,
right?
Like
the Pam Bondi or the new one, right? Yeah. The Department of Injustice, right? The Department of Misjustice. Come on now, girl. You know what I mean? That part. Just give it to the Joker. You know what I mean? Just give it to the Penguin.
And they're just doing it in this slick way because, you know, you need Congress to. You can't just dismantle it entirely by executive order, but you know, he's just like kind of shifting these responsibilities to other places, and I don't know. It's just fucked up. Like, it's just I hate what they're doing.
And it's just like, this is also the problem with like the executive position in general, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, is that what happens is because Congress is incapable or inactive or doesn't do anything, they just create these ways of the end run around the system. And then, you know, the problem with that is that because it's not enacted in legislation, it can then be changed by the next department. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I'm like, you're right. I'm glad that the things he's doing, because basically, like you said, the education department can only be dismantled and can only be gotten rid of by, by fiat, not executive fiat, by the legislature. But Congress, they don't have enough votes to do that. So instead, he's just like signing away duties to other places, which he can technically do. But then Congress could, if it had power, stop it. You know what I mean? Or if they really wanted to do something, they could go on record and saying that they want to get rid of the education department. But this is a way of doing it silently without actually anyone going on any legislative record by voting to get rid of the education department.
Right.
And go ahead.
I was going to ask, like, what is the end goal? Like, because they say, oh, we want to return the education back to the states, but they're all different. Right. Like, there needs to be some kind of standard.
And we have states here that are trying to get things like, you know, the 10 Commandments put up there. We got states here trying to get critical race theory taken out. We got states here trying to rewrite history. And we need the education department because that's how you know, and it's notable of those two, you know, for, you know, special education and, civil rights. Those are the two that are going to be fighting against misinformation and disinformation. So, of course, those two are not going to be subsumed into some other departments and not run well, because those would be the ones that would be fighting the fight in the education, like on the education war front, in terms of, you know, getting, you know, talking about ableness and ability, and then talking about, you know, different people of color.
Yeah.
And their struggles. And it also just, like I said, it just annoys me because it's like, it's just shit that's just being done behind the scenes, you know, because you got Linda McMahon or whatever, the wife of the guy who runs the WWE. Like, bitch, you know what I mean? Like
she has no fucking experience.
Right. And I don't even like her name. You know what I mean? Like, education, bitch. Just learn to get your name spelled differently, you dumb bitch. And McMahon or whatever. Fuck you and your fucking name, bitch. You know what I mean? Oh, can't stand her. Let's go to local news. And we're back from break with local news. California's bassoon learned personal finance to graduate. Finally!
Yeah.
Damn it. Like, girl, let me get through this article. California will require all students to take a personal finance course in order to graduate high school, starting with the class of 2031. And Fresno Unified, a pioneer in developing the courses. Students at most high schools are learning how to budget and build credit. A Fresno educator helping with the state's rollout says the courses have become popular electives and draw high student engagement. Once established, the bank will... so that's... What do you think?
I mean, this is long overdue. Like... I didn't realize 25 other states, half the other states have this already.
Right. I didn't why are we so late to the fucking game?
Yeah.
And then can I be Drew Barrymore in that one movie and go back in high school and take this class, bitch? I'll just sit there and audit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really important. I mean, you're going to be dealing with money all of your life, and it's such an important life skill to have. So the fact that it's only getting implemented now that's problematic, but I'm glad that's here.
Yeah, and it's also cool, you know what I mean? Like, especially because you make, if you're like me, you made most of your really bad credit decisions and financial decisions when you're younger.
Yeah.
Because you don't actually know the impact, having understand, and you're most preyed upon. I mean, I remember when I graduated college, the first thing I started getting when I was, or not even graduate, when I was at school, the first thing I started getting in the mailbox, the only thing I would get was credit card offers. You know what I mean? As soon as I knew I was 18, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was kind of fortunate because my mother worked in banking and I worked in banks. So I had like a little bit of this information before, I was going to actually need it. But, there's still a lot to learn. I mean, credit scores and loans and all these other things that, you're going to have to deal with. It's like we just throw people to the wolves, and expect them to just figure it out financially. And we don't really have anything until now set up to really support them in that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wish we had this motherfucking class. We did a class on this. We needed classes like on nutrition, on, working out, just so you can understand just your body, things like that. Like classes on just like, I don't know, you're like engaging people and you're dealing with your emotions. There'll be all kinds of things that you could really do to set yourself up as a good human.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is fucking cool. I'm jealous of the schools, the high school courses. I want to audit this motherfucking course. You know what I mean? I'm just like, you can make this go. It's like, they should also like I don't know if other colleges have it, but like Yale didn't. You know what I mean? When I went to Yale, they don't know. I don't remember a course on this, but they should like have these in college courses because I feel like even if you're not one of these, people should take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They get to learn about retirement savings, investments, credit scores. Like, bitch, I motherfucking wish.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't learn about that until I learned like everybody else did when I made those decisions. Remember Rent Center? Jesus, Rent Center used to be get on you. You remember Rent Center? Rent Center used to go to your job. Like, hey, bitch, you got my couch. And then we always have the same furniture and them same big ass TVs. I used to, me and Rent Center. I had to dodge him like I was dodging trying to top sometimes. But now I top. Anyway, let's go to pop culture news. And we're back with pop culture news. Tyra Banks sues Netflix documentary. Ain't this a bitch? Tyra Banks ain't got no shame. So Tyra Banks has filed a defamation lawsuit against Netflix on Saturday, accusing the streaming giant of manipulating her manipulating her into participating in a bombshell documentary about her former reality show, America's Next Top Model. Manipulating you into participating. Ain't nobody talking to you about anything else but this, bitch. Right. You know what I mean? What you manipulated? Bitch, you probably ran to them when they even called you. You're like, I'm right outside. Yeah. Fuck up. And so then, okay, the article continues. This false narrative, this is what she's saying. Quote, the false narrative the producers constructed through selective editing, deliberate omission, and surgical manipulation of continuous footage included that Mrs. Banks knowingly allowed a contestant to be sexually assaulted on her show, exploited that contestant's trauma for ratings, and then could not even remember it when asked. The lawsuit states the narrative about Mrs. Banks is a complete fabrication, one that Netflix streamed to a global audience of millions. The lawsuit accuses Netflix producers of selectively editing portions of the Banks' interview to make it seem like she was responding to questions about a former contestant's sexual assault, something Ms. Banks had never heard of before and was not told during her interview. Contestant Shandy Sullivan claimed in a documentary that she was assaulted during the filming of the show's second season.
I mean, Tyra's just mad because she is losing money.
Yeah.
If the documentary was big and it didn't make her look bad, she wouldn't be suing nobody. Like,
right.
It's like, I didn't really watch this show too heavy, so I can't really speak to all the things that happened on it. Uh-huh. But I mean, she did it for a long time. She did it for 24 seasons.
Right, but I mean, I watched the show, and we even talked about it when the show dropped, and it was like it was like a masterclass in gaslighting, because she just sat there and was just like, I don't know what happened. All of them did, all the Jays and her. They were at the both. On one hand, they were at the head of every decision. They picked every scene. They picked every photo shoot, picked every model. They were in every decision. And then, but whenever you got to one of those bad ones, like when they put them in blackface or changed their race, or when they all the things that they did to try to make them fix the gaps in their teeth and get surgery and all that shit, then he'd be like, well, no, that wasn't me, it was the producers. It was, and that would never, bitch, which one was it, bitch? You know what I mean?
A blackface challenge, I mean, that's absurd.
But what was crazy is that, like, I remember watching it and not having a problem with it at the time, because we didn't know. You know what I mean? We did not know. But it's just crazy to me that, like, this is basically what happened is Tyra thought, because you could tell that she is like divorced from reality. She thought, because during the documentary, she was like, yeah, she tried to like flirt that they were going to do season 25. She thought she was going to have the documentary, and that was going to dovetail into season 25. Didn't nobody want a season 25 of America's Top Model before the documentary or after? You know what I mean? Like, Top Model, we all know the Top Model was toxic. You know what I mean? And that's why we watched the documentary. And she knew that, bitch, because if Top Model wasn't toxic, then there would be no real reason to have this documentary.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Why would anyone give a fuck about it? If you know what I mean? What salacious details would there be if it was just like Project Runway? You know what I mean? There's a reason why there's no documentary about Project Runway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, girl, shut up. 1, 2, you thought that was gonna be season 25 and there wasn't, and then it affected her ice cream business, bitch.
Right.
So basically, you not making no money, and people don't like you, and people didn't like you before.
Right, they didn't like her before,
but she did it to herself.
Yeah.
And then I just find the irony of Tyra Banks, who made her fucking career in Top Model off selectively editing shit and not telling people the truth, and then editing things, just to get people to do whatever. And she's going to complain about the editing. Of course, you're going to sit down for 3 hours, and they're not going to put the whole thing in a documentary,
it's only
bitch.
Like 15, 16 minutes of a 3.5 hour, but it's like, that's what they get to do. The
documentary isn't about you.
You signed the agreement.
Right. The documentary is not about you. It's about America's Next Top Model, ho. You know what I mean? And then even in the article, she's like, I tried to contact Jay when he was in the hospital, and I have receipts, and I tried. Bitch, you are rich. Everyone on the crew probably knew he was he had a stroke. It was in the hospital. He even said that the other 2 Jays went and visited him all the time. Mm-hmm. So how the fuck you couldn't at all find where he was? You know what I mean? What the fuck was he like Muammar Gaddafi? Was it Osama bin Laden hiding it from you, bitch? You know what I mean? Girl, I'm sure that it couldn't have been hard to find where a cast member of a show that you were on, where I'm sure the whole cast knows where his hospital was at.
Yes.
The fuck, bitch? And then she's like, I have receipts. That just sounds stupid.
That's what I like. I can't stand the lack of accountability.
Right.
When anything that happens like this, because this isn't the only documentary that came out. We're talking about The Biggest Loser,
right?
It's like then these things come out. It's like, you were okay with it at the time,
right?
You were okay with this shit at the time. You were the executive producer. You were the one that was making the final call on things, and now it's a problem because people have a problem with it later.
Right. And okay, girl, the only thing you got out of that documentary is we saw your new nose. You know what I mean? Just be good with that, because that was the only thing I was looking like, bitch, why do you? And she's a messy top model, because all the other models, they didn't change, all the supermodels didn't change their face like that. You know what I mean? They all kind of look, I'm sure they're getting Botox or whatever, but the bitch got a whole new nose. You were a supermodel. What was wrong with your old nose? You know what I mean? Exactly. You know what I mean? And you got she just look a mess. She just look a mess, and she got mad because she was shown to be a mess in that a messy trench coat she had on. She just looked a mess, and you got mad. Now you try to sue, because also if you had the receipts, bitch, this is social media. Then post the receipts.
Right.
You know what I mean? Post the screenshots of you trying to reach out to Miss J and whatever, and nobody telling you, because they were trying to hide him from you because what you were fucking a gangster, and this was witness protection, bitch. Yeah. Please, bitch.
If you gotta show it.
Gaslighting, bitch. Oh my word. Anyway, let's move on to the examples of the protest section, where we highlight the protests around the world. In this one, we've got the women of Afghanistan. Hundreds of women and girls took to the streets in Herat to protest the Taliban decree requiring the full hijab and forbidding women from leaving their homes. Taliban forces opened fire in the crowd, resulting in fatalities. This is crazy. Yeah. It's funny how we just forgot about Afghanistan. You know what I mean? We did all that shit to them, and then Biden said, "We out, chia." You know what I mean? And now and that was exactly what we thought was going to happen, is if we let the Taliban take over, was that they were going to just start doing mistreating their women, and they have. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so the fact that they even protested, it just, you know what I mean, just shows the courage and strength of those people. So power to them.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the positive news section because we all need some positive news. So, Amazon protection, deforestation rates in the Amazon dropped by nearly a quarter, showcasing a major win for global climate efforts. Snaps to that. And then for ocean conservation, indigenous groups in Australia successfully took over the management of massive vital wetland ecosystems, and a new massive marine reserves were established globally. We need because we know we overfish in the fucking sea, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, God.
I like that.
I like it too. And that is the end of our show, ladies. Well, the end of our news recap, ladies and gentle fucks. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everyone, for getting on this long. Stay tuned after the break for the panel on having a MAGA relative. It was explosive, honey. Okay, no red hats were worn. Okay, just making sure you guys knew that. And as always, remember to follow me so you'll know when I post new shows. Remember to listen, rate, share, and laugh. And as always, keep it sassy, San Francisco. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Hey, yo, shorty, won't you go get a bag of the lethal? I'll be undressed in a bra or see-through. While you catch a dude thinking I'ma cheat you. The only one thing I want to do is freak you. Keep it stone, sis. I got my own baguettes. And I'll be doing things that you won't regret. Little Kim the Queen Bee, so you best take heed. Shall I proceed? Yes, indeed. Okay, that's it. Before we get copyright. That's probably too long anyway, but that was a real good mic check.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
And see.
Very ready.
All right. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hello, everyone. It is I in a new location, right? Like I know I didn't get kidnapped. This is one of those videos. Like, oh my God, help me! I need money. This is actually a panel, and I'm doing a panel on having a MAGA relative. And probably if you didn't know the name of the panel and you just saw these two, you'd be like, what are they doing here? But yes, having a MAGA relative. Interesting connection, right?
Yeah.
So if you know me, I like to do panels on random things, and so I've been talking and thinking about what it would be like having a MAGA family relative. Unless you've lived under the cover of a rock or like a hard place, you probably have to be like, I don't know, probably deep in the earth not to have heard of Trump in this day and age, right? And so we all have a friend, a family member, a coworker, or something like that who's turned MAGA, and I really wanted to see like what those kind of effects, how that affects like family dynamics, relationships, because we need to like either communicate or not with these people. Right? So I asked 2 of my friends to sit down with me. Thank you, Hera. Thank you, Curtis. And we're going to talk about what it's like having a MAGA relative. So sit back and let's learn. This is When in Rome. Let's get started. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Let's start with like your name, where you're from, and then your MAGA relative, like how they kind of like how their journey started toward MAGA-ness.
I'll go first and try to look at me. Hi, my name is Hera. Y'all probably know me as Hera Wynn out in the streets of Castro, San Francisco. I live at my house, and I have 2 parents who are MAGA and voted for Donald Trump, as well as an aunt, a few cousins, and other family members on Facebook.
So the whole family?
Honey,
yeah.
yes.
Oh my God.
A lot of them. But not my grandma.
Not your grandmother?
Not my grandma.
The lone Democrat?
I'm sure there's a few more sprinkled in there.
So like,
yes.
were your family members like always conservative? Or did they kind of like, did they have a political ideology before MAGA?
So I think my parents just don't necessarily have a political education, period. Mm-hmm. And I feel like them coming into being MAGA conservative or like voting for Trump came with like their friends that were doing it. Mm-hmm. Like we came from a very conservative area, like growing up. If you've watched my interview, you know I was from Paso Robles. If you know, you know, and if you don't need to find out.
Right. Stop now and go watch that. Yes. Then come back and learn some more about the MAGA relative.
Yes. And then, we moved to Sacramento, and my parents, we moved to El Dorado Hills, which is also a very conservative area within. I mean, Sacramento in itself, I feel, is pretty conservative, with like Lavender Heights being the only progressive area that at least I know of and have experienced. But yeah, being in El Dorado Hills and our neighbors with Make America Great Again, like signs. And this was like when Trump first was running for president. So like back then it was just like surrounded, and I feel like my parents just wanted to like fit in, and so they're like, okay, well, this is what everyone's doing, so let's do it.
So they didn't really have a political ideology that you could really think of, and they kind of like, but as MAGA came out, they started to get more and more MAGA
I feel
friendly.
like they just went with like the trend of it, you know, because like when MAGA, the movement like first started, and like when Trump first ran, I feel like there was a huge wave of people that didn't even know what was being talked about or what was being done. They were just like bright red hats and signs, and this is what everyone else is doing. So let's just ride the wave and like, you know. So I feel like they just went with that and stuck with it, and for some reason they feel like that benefits them in any way, and it doesn't at all. Like. The middle, like, I mean, well off, but like middle class, like neither of them, my family's not rich.
So you're not making enough money to benefit from Trump's like
by any means. And like my dad is brown covered in tattoos, and my mom is white covered in tattoos, but they're not benefiting from anything that like MAGA has to offer, other than like they wanted cheaper gas prices and cheaper groceries, which we didn't get.
I was like, where are they going? Right, they can't be going to the Stop and Shop that I go to. Okay, thank you, Hera. Cooper, what about you?
I'm Cooper. I've been here many a time before. I'm from Kentucky, which kind of says a lot about it. When he's like, oh, pick a MAGA relative. I'm like, can I pick a not?
There's no MAGA people in Kentucky.
Like, there's like one or two, like, but they're in my family. What led them down that road? It's funny because you talked about like, oh, they're friends. I'm like, my parents don't have friends. My family, no one in my family talks to anyone outside our family. I grew up on a dairy farm. I come from a family who you had children because you wanted farmhands. So we're our own little thing.
So your family was conservative beforehand then?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So I mean, like before MAGA, they were Republican. Or...
What I think initially causes it, like they have uninformed to the point where this past election, my mother texted me and asked me who I was. She's like, "Can I ask you who you're going to vote for?" And I said, "No, you fucking can't. Are you shitting me?
Not gonna
like, what do you mean?
The yellow guy.
I was like, if you were educated at all, like, that would not be a question. Right. I'm like, also, like, I live in San Francisco. Like, here's your sign. What do you want?
I like my presidents like I like my men browner. That's what you would say. Okay, so I guess
talk to my mom.
so in your case, your family was like always conservative, and then MAGA is another kind of
exacerbated it like exponentially. Like they are the family with the red hats and the out there like and it was even like my family was conservative before. To a point, but and a few of my family are like rational people, and you can talk to them.
Rational conservatives?
Yeah, they're there.
Like
they're there, and if you talk to them, and like you can understand like why they think the way they think, but you can also like talk to them about like why you feel the way you do, and they can understand you and don't think you're insane. Which is like my grandma, my mom, my stepdad, and then there's like my youngest cousin who is like bonkers awesome. Like full red hat, like upset when like you couldn't fly, like when...
Would you say brainwashed?
Yeah. Like, brain soap was on sale.
They did a deep cleaning. So I have a question. So like the difference between like, you know, the really deep family members and the ones you could talk to, what is the difference in the sense of like when they see your point of view, how does that come across when you disagree?
It's hard to even talk to them about it because they're so far down the rabbit hole that they don't even know what they're talking about.
Right.
My youngest cousin was convinced that the Civil War was about religion, and that's why he should be able to fly the Confederate flag on his truck, is because it reflects his religion, and I lost for words. Where do I start?
Yeah, that's like so many such a gap in education. Like where do you?
We went to the same school.
Yeah, I guess that's the question then. Like, so if you go to the same school, then where do you think the gap there where do you think that gap lies? Like, how does he get to that point if you guys are educated in the same place?
The internet.
I mean,
the internet.
Yeah,
I feel like it's the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, differences in priorities eventually, because so my youngest cousin now is closeted gay, and I only know that he is gay because my friends that I know from high school have told me that they have seen videos of him. And I'm like, oh,
so like, you know what I mean, like cousin, like big, like little cousin, like, oh, he's doing that too.
And it's really funny. It was really funny because after finding that out, and because I found that out like this past like year or so,
right.
Because upon reflection, like anytime I would go home for Christmas or to visit, like he would always like want to make a point for like to talk to me about like what it's like in California and in San Francisco. So it's like I feel like part of it is like why he is so far down the rabbit hole is just like internalized homophobia.
Right.
Do you think there's like shame and guilt associated with that too, because of how much he has learned being someone that is like MAGA and a Trump supporter? So now that he's essentially like feeling a type of way that I guess the general population of MAGA would feel against, like now he's feeling shame.
But also he has to like double down on it to show like he's committed,
right, because obviously like the more you hate yourself, the more you have to.
I was there in high school.
Really?
Yeah, so like when did Trump first? 2016, right? For the 2016 election. I was still in high school. I think I was my junior. It's either my sophomore or my junior year of high school. And again, it was a part of like when that first thing came out, everyone was talking about Donald Trump and being in Paso Robles. No one was voting blue, so you just went with the flow of things, and it was. I had no idea about politics, about what the president does and doesn't do. Like I knew nothing. I just knew that everyone. I went to a school with a bunch of fucking Aggies. They all wore the hats, and so I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna walk on this side so I don't get clocked.
Yeah.
And I don't get spooked, even though high school. Even though I was getting bullied down to the ground because everyone knew that I was a little fruity, but you had to like go with the flow, and I found myself in that same position, like being like homophobic towards outwardly gay people in high school. And if y'all ever watch this, I'm so sorry if I ever said something to you. I wanted to fuck, but and but yeah,
I mean, it's nothing to do with it.
Yeah, literally. But like when you talk about having to double down, I understand that experience because it's like it's a safety thing, especially being closeted queer as well. So I get it.
Have you guys grown distant from your family members as they become more MAGA?
I mean,
Yes.
I don't have their phone number. So
I
don't speak to them. It's hard to grow distance.
It's like in Hogwarts, where they took Bellatrix off the hall. Shout out the phone number. Phone number's off the phone. The Guardian of the Star.
Okay. It's so weird. I feel like now, I remember when Trump was running again, and like I was talking to my parents about it, and I was like, why are you guys going to vote for Trump again? Like, he has all of these plans that go against, I was specifically talking about the queer community and like Project 2025 and that big ass pamphlet and all of them pages of things that he said he was going to do and that he's doing. And I was like, what good is there in that? I'm like, do you understand that it's like damaging to me? And they were like, oh no, he's not going to do any of those things. And like, no, you know how he is. He's just all talk and no bite. Like, you remember his first time running. We just want the cheaper gas and the cheaper groceries and we don't want to pay as much in taxes and blah, 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 whatever.
What about being brown and his how he treats immigrants? How do they feel about that?
So it's so crazy because when I've brought up that conversation before, because my dad's mom immigrated from Mexico and became a citizen shortly after, very early on in my dad's childhood, and like my dad was obviously born a citizen, but I'm like, we have immigrant family. Like your sister went to jail for immigrating people over the border in a fucking Walmart supercenter truck. Like So
she might be who they talking about.
Yeah,
Commercials, right?
So I was just like, so why are we supporting someone that is like a part of our family history, and like, you know? And he was just like, well, essentially, it doesn't affect me because I'm a citizen. Like, I'm cool.
Oh.
And then like when the whole like DEI stuff started to happen, and my dad works with a bunch of redneck white. I mean, he works in directional underground drilling, so he works with blue collar white men.
Yeah, directional underground drilling, unless they doing my butthole. But even then,
and I just remember like telling my mom, even though like we were barely talking, I was like, "What happens when Dad gets fired because he's dark brown?"
Right.
Like, and all of his friends are white.
Right.
And all of this is happening.
When
like,
Tope is out,
then
what?
Right. Are you gonna be begging for Trump's help then? Like, and so, yeah, they were just like, "Oh, well, it's not gonna happen." And then once everything started happening, and especially like me being transgender and like all of these articles coming out and all of these legislations and these new orders and like that is like actively affecting not only the queer but specifically like the transgender community. I have received no text, no call, and they know that I'm trans. We barely talk because of it, but like, no call, no text, no, are you okay? Are you safe? And then they want to like randomly reach out to me and be like, "You're still our child and we miss you and we just want you to be happy and you need to come visit us in ghetto ass El Dorado Hills."
But no talking about.
Don't talk about
what's going on.
Her, he, they, them, whatever the hell is going on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So, were you guys like kind of like there for the journey, or did it kind of happen overnight? Like, would you kind of see signs of it as it was coming, or
as far as like their political ideologies?
Yeah, like, you know what I mean. Like I guess in some sense, like, do they just wake up and you were like, oh, you got a new hat, or you know what I mean?
I feel like that.
You know what I mean? It
was like,
where? Hey, hold
on. I feel like I grew up in like countryside and like I grew up in that area and like I don't think we've ever been. My parents like to say that they're religious and political, and they're neither of the fucking sort. We went to a Spanish church, La Luz del Mundo, which the head of went to jail for child pornography and molestation.
I mean, what church hasn't had the head of?
Weird if they did.
Oh my God, are you a real church if your head hasn't gone to jail for child molestation? I mean,
but like, you know, we would go, and I would only go with my dad because we'd get donuts at 4:30 in the morning. So, so that was the only reason why I was going.
Holy Jesus, donuts!
And I don't think, as much as they tried to put the face on, they never were. And my parents are just so in, like, in what they need, like in the moment. I don't think they actually know what they like are following and like what they're practicing.
And you kind of mentioned like it's a need for them, it's a need to belong, right? They're in an area where everyone around them is red, and so like I gotta be red too.
Literally only that, because like all of their new friends, especially when we moved, and even in Paso too, like everyone else was waving the red flag, so why wouldn't they? They're not going to be the outcast fucking group, and I really think it's just to please the eye of everybody else because they don't want to be seen as they're people pleasers. My parents are people pleasers.
What sucks is even if if they wanted to start to like come around or change, again going back to what we were saying at the beginning, because they feel like they have to double down, like, oh, I feel this doubt, like what's wrong with me,
right
and like even if it's from like a safety standpoint, like there's like, oh, like I could not possibly tell any of my friends or people I hang out with that I don't support Donald Trump, because then I would be exiled.
Right. So it's like, so basically, once because then you start surrounding yourself with people, and then you're kind of like lost in the sauce, right? And then then there's really no out. And then if you do decide that maybe you want to change your mind, who you gonna tell if you surrounded yourself with MAGA?
You're gonna have to move.
Yeah, right. To Gayland. Well, now I think it's a really good time for a break. That was really good. We're gonna be back. We're gonna talk about Biden, but you know, so I was trying to be something other than Trump, but you know, Biden. That was rude. Like that was really ageist. Like, wow. I'm gonna think about what I'm doing on this break, and we'll be right back.
Edit that out.
All right, are we ready? Mm-hmm. All right. And we're back in 3, 2. Hello, everyone. I worked on it. I won't do anything like that again. We are back from break. Got a strong talking to from the ableist community. They called me. So we're back, and we were having a really good conversation about dealing with the MAGA relative. So let's keep going.
Yes.
During break, we were talking, I think, the difference between, I think, Cooper, you were saying that, like, in terms of your family.
Yeah. Just like the progression of, like, what was the progression like of seeing them become MAGA? And I was saying, like, to me, like, I don't know what any progression there was because I left for the military and my brother was not even 16. Like, is now turns 30 this year. Like, I left and they were 10 years old and I came back and they were wearing red hats and I was like, I'll leave you guys alone for 5 goddamn minutes.
Right. Well, or 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years, 5 goddamn minutes, whatever.
Right.
Big difference.
A long time.
Clearly they shouldn't be left alone.
Right. Little puberty happened.
there's a little difference.
Right. Someone had a period. So I guess the question would be, do you see a way back for your family members, or I guess people maybe lost to the sauce in MAGA?
I think that it's so hard because, kind of like we were saying earlier, it's so hard for one person to say, like, oh, that they don't support Donald Trump,
right,
when it's so ingrained around them that it's their lifestyle now. Like, it's a brand that they wear. Like, it would be so hard for one person to kind of, like, deviate away from the path, unless, like I said, like, they would literally have to move away. They just reinvent themselves.
I mean, like, and I guess, like, what about now when, you know what I mean, there's so many, like, things out there that are like, that Trump has fucked up. You know what I mean? Like the first presidency, there's a lot of little things you could, like, kind of hide it, but now it's like,
well,
girl.
I think that kind of, like, plays into what I was saying, to where, like, people, because you don't feel like you can ever speak up against him, even if he's doing all this stupid shit, like, even if you realize that he's doing all this stupid shit, because it is so taboo to say that he did anything wrong, you don't feel like you can. Even if you don't truly feel like you should support him or don't want to support him, you don't feel like you can.
You go along to get along.
Yeah, exactly. Because everyone around you still is. Even if you're with a group of people where you kind of all feel like you all probably don't support him anymore, I don't think anybody would ever feel actually empowered to be able to express that.
So do you think there's no way to engage with these
They
people?
have to move away.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, okay,
move away from everybody else. That is,
okay.
Like, if you're lost in the sauce, get out of the bowl.
If you're not Dorothy and Toto, you know what I mean, and you're not moving away.
They're all adults.
I honestly think, like, specifically talking about something, I feel like something bad would have to happen, like my dad, like, being dark brown, biracial,
something that
like,
impacts them
man,
directly.
either him being detained or fired from his job because of the color of his skin, and then I think that would act as a catalyst to specifically my mom and my dad to be like, wait a minute, this is not what we voted for. Right. Wait, hold on.
I mean, I'd be worried if they looked around and said this is what they voted for.
I guess you're saying it has to be something impactful enough. Because, I mean, there's technically things that have happened, like gas has gone up, yada, yada. But you're saying something like serious, like...
You can blame that on other things.
Right, when, conversion concentration camps come out for transgender folks and I'm dead, and then that's how they find out. Like, I feel like it would, not to say that I want that to happen, but realistically speaking, like, transgender people are dying every single day under this administration. So unfortunately, I feel like it would take something to that catastrophe to wake them up about their choices. And it's really unfortunate because, like they say, like, oh, death only brings family back together and like this and that. But I genuinely think, like, in the sense of people who are MAGA conservative Republican who are so deep down in a rabbit hole of what they believe in Trump Jesus, like, it takes a wake-up call to like pull you back out.
What do you think for your parents? You said it was just like not necessarily being educated. What do you think got them toward MAGA? Was it just following along to get along? What are their personal concerns?
Their personal concerns, they have none. They're just white people in Kentucky. So they get told on TV that they're white people in Kentucky and they should vote for Trump, so they do. Like, I've literally sat in my grandparents' living room for Christmas, and there's just like crazy propaganda about California on the TV where I'm just like, I live in California, and this is all insane. Like they're talking about how like fast food workers are getting paid. They're making a law where they're getting paid $25 an hour, and like they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
Yeah,
like it's just all insanity, and I'm like, I can't even begin to bring up like this is all shenanigans because I'm like, there's 15 of you against one. It was like, and I know there'll be like 3 of you that are like, I could get, if I were able to talk to them individually, they would understand. I would be able to convince them that just like this is like so far-fetched and exaggerated that it's to the point where it's lying.
Yeah.
Or maybe they got to visit, they actually got to see California and maybe be like, oh, it's not quite what they were saying.
It's actually the ones that I would be able to talk to are the ones that have visited California, that actually have traveled. Like my grandparents, like are really well traveled. They have some like crazy fun stories. And what's crazy is like they're my grandparents. They're the oldest of like the family members, and they are the most rooted in reality. And the youngest ones are not, because they have grown up and with like my dad. I don't even know the last time he left my hometown. Neither of my parents have a passport. Have ever had a passport. Like they exist within their bubble. And anything outside it is just like irrelevant.
So like,
and they have no desire to experience anything outside.
And you mentioned your grandmother was the only one that's not, right?
Yeah, and like, quick story. Also, I can specifically remember a time where I was talking to my dad's mom, who immigrated from Mexico when she was very young, and talking to her about, do you have, because there was something on the news about Donald Trump, and this was the first time that he was running, and she was like, that's who I'm voting for. And I said, why? And she was like, because my friends told me to.
That's the worst reason.
Right. And then when I explained it to her and was like educating her about like why that's not a good idea, she said, oh my God, I had no idea. Nobody told me. This is just like who everyone was telling me to vote for. But now fast forward, my mom's mom, and I feel like my dad's mom now, I don't think she gets involved with politics anymore, specifically after that conversation. But my dad's mom my mom's mom has never been a Trump supporter and has, her political ideologies, like she doesn't really share them with anybody just because I feel like she knows that she'll be disagreed with. We've had light conversations, but she's super supportive of me, like, and my transition of our community, and like, advocates for like I guess what's right and what's wrong. That's a whole nother conversation, but not the red. You know what I'm saying? And my mom specifically loves to be like, oh, well, the way that I think is just how I was raised. Well, I'm over here talking to Nana, and she's saying that that's not how she raised you. So you can't.
Like she said,
which one is the baby?
Yeah, you can't use that excuse. But my mom's mom has also said that same thing. She's like, there's been moments where, like dating my grandfather, who is moved on at this point, but like, when he was serving, and who to vote for, and like that presidency back then. And she was like, you kind of just went with the flow of things of what everything else was happening around you.
It kind of sounds like, a lot of voters are just kind of like, if you're not educated, you kind of just vote with the people around you, and you trust them.
Just do what you're told.
Do what you're going to do. I have a question. So, in terms of like reapproachment with people, you guys basically are saying that it sounds like the media ecosystem needs to change, right? Because they're obviously getting completely different news, and then also like contact, traveling, getting out of your bubble, meeting
exactly.
people.
It's like there's a reasons that why like most major cities are blue, like because you actually interact with other people, you see how things and like see, interact, and understand how different people grew up, experience the world, and you can empathize with them and like help understand other people other than yourself. And when you grow up with nothing except cookie cutter people that all grew up the same way, doing the exact same thing, Well, if one person tells you, "Oh, we should vote for Trump," well, everybody's like, "Oh, that's probably right."
I have a question. What are Christmases like?
Christmas is my least favorite holiday of the year. I haven't celebrated Christmas with my family in many years, and even when I was like living with them, and like we were semi talking, whatever, it was still kind of like distant, but because of the whole gay thing, and then I haven't done Christmas with my family in a while, but I feel like Christmas is the same thing. I think it's, for how I always explain it, like I didn't grow up horribly. I got everything that I wanted materialistically, but emotionally the support that I needed, and from just like the care that I needed from my parents, I didn't really receive. They would yell at me, cuss me out, and treat me like shit, but then be like, "Oh, well, here's a PlayStation 3 to like make you feel better."
Right.
Oh, and my dad would get like really fucking belligerently drunk and threaten to kill himself, and then the next morning would take me shopping and be like, "I'm sorry about that."
Right.
So like sure, I had everything that I wanted growing up, but I didn't have the things that I needed.
Right.
And so with Christmas specifically, it's kind of just like, okay, we kind of just pretend that this day of the year, like we all fucking like each other with gifts and all that stuff. And my mom takes a picture for Facebook and says, "Oh my God, my beautiful family, Merry Christmas, everybody." And then we just go back to disagreeing on fucking everything. So I've never really liked Christmas because for myself, it's always been 364 days of bullshit. And then one day, all of a sudden, we all come together and love each other.
Cooper?
For at least from my experience.
So, what is Christmas like? It's definitely not. It's uncomfortable. It's not fun, but it's good and bad in its own way. It's good because nobody feels enabled to argue with each other when you're at my grandparents' house for Christmas, So it's easy for me to tell people they're stupid
They can't,
because they will not yell back at me. And because if they try, my grandma's going to start that shit down.
Come on, Nana.
Like, I think, and my grandma is like not the most. My grandma understands history. She doesn't have. What's the best way to say this? She is probably the bluest member of my family while still being fairly red.
She's magenta.
Yes. Yes.
Like my bubble.
So, like for example, what I was saying earlier about like my cousin having this idea that the Civil War was about his religion, and I'm telling him that he's an idiot, and he's like not really listening to me. And I was like, so I'm like,
"You're an idiot." I would be like, "What?"
I'm like trying to explain to him that there's so many things where to start with to point out where he's wrong.
Right.
I literally just like looked at my grandma and was like, was the Civil War about Christianity in any way, shape, or form?
You were there, Grandma.
I didn't say that.
You lived it, right? Like, I was Lincoln's speech, right?
Have a great night.
But her response is literally just like, no, not at all. And that's like all it took to shut him down. Like he, at one point, it's really funny because most of the arguments start with my youngest cousin. At one point said like he wanted to come out to California to be a state trooper. And I was like, you could not move to California because you would not be able to exist here. And he's like, what do you mean? And this was the next year. And I was like, because you think the Civil War was about your religion.
Yeah.
And he was like just
befuddled.
Befuddled. Like didn't know what to say. And I was like, yeah, like do you filter what you say? Like clearly not. Like so anyway, going back to what Christmas is like.
Okay.
The only time I've ever had to check my grandma is when I was there with Mark Pasquale. He and my grandma is handing out pins, like pins like that you put on your shirt. Oh. And they are the Confederate flag pin. And this is before the Confederate flag pin. This was like a while ago, right? I mean, before the flag ban or whatever. It's not that long. It's not that long ago.
Before the flag ban, but after the Civil War.
It was after the Civil War, but it was not last year. But I literally looked at her. I was like,
before it was canceled.
Before it was canceled. Right. But I literally had to look at her and be like, Grandma, I don't want that. And you saw it like kind of click in her head to be like, oh yeah, like this. What am I doing? And she stopped handing them out to anyone else.
Well, that's good.
And I was like, because
and the ones that she didn't have that became keepsakes. Oh my God, limited edition, collector's items.
But so it's always.
Oh God.
I really worry because right now I can still go back home for Christmas and it be somewhat enjoyable. But I mean, after my grandma passes, which every time I talk to her, she acts like it's going to be tomorrow. The last time I was there for Christmas, she told me that she was marking items that she did not want us to sell when she passed with a gold star on the bottom because they're antiques. And I'm like, Grandma, this is the most morbid Christmas conversation I've ever had with anybody.
Right.
But after she passes, like I don't know.
Don't use permanent pen, Grandma. We don't know.
Get a Sharpie. Put your initials on it. But I don't know if I'll be able to go home for Christmas like afterwards
because she's the
she's the moderator. Right. She is the one that allows me to go there, knowing that like it is still a safe space for me.
You know you're in Kentucky when the moderator passes out Confederate pins. You know what I mean? Like that's the most neutral position.
Hey, take me if you did.
Hey, here's a little something pride for you, baby. But I love you. But this has been actually really, really good.
I feel like with going back home to quickly chime in, with the relationship with my parents, it's not, they haven't done anything to me that is like completely catastrophic that like I could never see them in person ever again. It's just they've made no effort to see me like since coming out and like being openly trans and speaking my political ideologies, which disagrees with everything that they think. And I could go and like not talk about politics, but they just love to start a conversation that irritates the fuck out of me, and then it irritates the fuck out of them because they look stupid. And so it's just like one of those things where it's like I could go back home, but I don't want to because it always just turns into a conversation that pisses me off and pisses them off. And that's like where our relationship. That's where our relationship is kind of at right now. Like every time I speak with my parents, specifically my mom, it always just turns into her bitching about something. Or
and it's different if you feel like you're having a constructive conversation about it.
No, it's just them trying to prove. It's them trying to prove me wrong and like prove their point, and then I like educate them and like read them the fuck down and clearly sit them down, and then they like crash out. So
we can handle the truth.
Very much that. Yes.
This has actually been really good. It's been really illuminating. Thank you guys for sitting down with me, ladies and gentlemen. I've always wanted to know what it was like to have a MAGA relative, and now I kind of do. You know what I mean? Like, definitely.
And he's like, I'll pass.
Huh? Yeah, I mean, well, you know what I mean? Like, Christmas is going to be fun, right? Save for the Confederate pin. My new Hot Topic vest, right?
The collector's items. Can't get them anymore.
My new MAGA made vest. Thank you, Cooper, and thank you, Heroin, for being here.
Yes.
I hope you guys have gotten some information. It sounds like, families are going to be having a lot of conversations about MAGA. We're trying to bring it back into the light or away from the dark side of the Force. You know what I mean? They're giving her to Sith right now. They should be giving Jedi.
The cookies are a lie.
The cookies are, I don't even know what that is. But wow.
Come to the dark side. We have cookies.
Gonna edit that out. This has been When in Rome. As always, keep it sassy, San Francisco. Thank you, Hera. Thank you, Cooper. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
And vote blue because there's no other option. You know what I mean? My God.